TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Syria claims it intercepted an incoming Israeli-launched missile that, according to its trajectory, sought to target an area of extensive Iranian presence. Two 14-year-old Palestinian teenagers stabbed an Israeli policeman at the Temple Mount's western chain gate last night, inflicting on the officer light injuries. Israel announced that it is barring the entry of two members of the United States Congress, including Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib of the Democratic Party, who have been proactively supporting the boycott, divest, and sanctions movement against the Jewish state. A Syrian military source confirmed that an incoming Israeli-launched missile infiltrated his country's airspace from northern Lebanon before Syrian air defense batteries managed to intercept the hostile projectile. According to the source, who was quoted by Syria's state news agency Sana, data collected from the missile's trajectory indicated that the presumed target is situated in the Masyaf area of Hama Governorate, a location known for housing multiple Iranian military installations that frequently draw Israeli bombardments. The Syrian military source alluded to Israeli responsibility, claiming that regularly when Damascus makes gains against terrorist groups, U.S. and Israeli attacks on Syria coincide. While the IDF spokesperson's unit told TV7 that it does not respond to foreign reports on its operations, an Israeli defense official rejected the repeated Syrian claims regarding any connection between Jerusalem's activities to thwart Iran's military entrenchment within Israel's northern neighbor and beyond. The official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, refused to refer to last night's attack, but insisted that the Syrian regime is well acquainted with Israel's military superiority that allows it to destroy any target the moment it poses a risk to the security of the Jewish state. Meanwhile, the London-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights referred to last night's attack as a presumed Israeli strike. While it revealed that the intercepted projectile was downed in the vicinity of Masyaf city, there were no reports of any casualties. Now to Jerusalem, where two Palestinian teens, aged 14, stabbed an Israeli policeman at the western chain gate of the Temple Mount last night, inflicting on the officer light to moderate injuries. Police forces that are permanently stationed in the compound immediately responded by opening fire toward the attackers, killing one and severely injuring the other. The police spokesperson's unit said in its statement that the two Palestinian attackers were underage and that one more person who was in the vicinity of the event was wounded in his leg and evacuated to a medical facility for treatment. The Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center in Jerusalem said that the policeman is receiving treatment for multiple stab wounds in his upper body, while the Palestinian attacker who sustained severe injuries from gunshots is also receiving treatment at an Israeli hospital. Now in other news, Israel announced that it is barring the entry of two members of the United States Congress, including Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib of the Democratic Party, who have been proactively supporting the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against the Jewish state. Despite initial indications by Jerusalem officials that the two Muslim congresswomen would be permitted entry, a re-examination of their announced itinerary, which among others titled their visit as a trip to Palestine instead of Israel, altered Jerusalem's decision. Israeli Interior Minister Aryeh Deri wrote in a statement that his decision was made in full coordination with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Foreign Minister Israel Katz, and Public Security Minister Gilad Erdan. He explained that while the State of Israel honors the American Congress in context with the tight alliance between the two countries, it would be unthinkable to grant entry to those that seek to harm the State of Israel, even by means of criticism. That said, Minister Deri underscored that Congresswoman Tlaib, who is of Palestinian descent, could receive a separate entry permit on humanitarian grounds for the purpose of visiting her family, as long as she does not use the stage of her visit to incite against the Jewish state. An Interior Ministry official told TV7 that while it may appear as if Israel supposedly changed its mind after U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted that the two congresswomen hate Israel and that Israel would be displaying weakness if it permitted them entry, the move was made after thorough considerations of their vocal support for anti-Israeli activities, including the boycott, divest, and sanctions movement, which granted the legal grounds for the ministry's decision. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu explained in a statement of his own that while no country in the world respects America and the American Congress more than the State of Israel, Congresswoman Tlaib and Omar are not merely criticizing the Jewish state, but are leading activists in promoting the legislation of boycotts against Israel in the American Congress. Netanyahu underscored in a statement that as a free and vibrant democracy, Israel is open to critics and criticism with one exception. Israeli law prohibits the entry into Israel of those who call for and work to impose boycotts on Israel, as do other democracies that prohibit the entry of people who seek to harm the country. The Prime Minister also mentioned the fact that the United States also barred entry of an Israeli member of Knesset in the past, as well as to other public figures from around the world due to similar reasons. In addition to the stated reasons behind Jerusalem's decision, Netanyahu revealed that the organization that sought to fund their trip, Miftah, is an avid supporter of BDS, and among whose members are those who have expressed support for terrorism against the Jewish state. While both the congresswomen are from the Democratic Party, the Israeli leaders sought to discredit claims of political considerations, pointing to the fact that a week ago, Israel warmly welcomed some 70 Democratic and Republican members of Congress who expressed broad bipartisan support for Israel, which was also demonstrated a month ago in a resounding bipartisan vote against BDS in the U.S. Congress. Meanwhile, in the American town of Morristown, New Jersey, U.S. President Donald Trump hailed the Israeli decision, accusing the two congresswomen of anti-Jewish and anti-Israeli sentiments.
Well, I'm only involved from the standpoint of they are very anti-Jewish and they're very anti-Israel. I think it's disgraceful, the things they've said. You have lists of, this isn't just a one-line mistake. What they've said about Israel and Jewish people is a horrible thing, and they've become the face of the Democrat Party. So I did absolutely put out a very strong statement. I think if you look at their language, if you look at what they've said, if I ever said it, it would be a horrible month, to put it mildly. So the things that they've said, Omar, Tlaib, what they've said is disgraceful. So I can't imagine why Israel would let them in.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar responded by dubbing the Israeli decision as an insult to democratic values and noted the irony of the only democracy in the Middle East making such a decision. She further said that this was not surprising to her since Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu consistently resisted peace efforts and restricted Palestinian freedom of movement. Now to the British Isle of Gibraltar, where the Chief Minister Fabian Picardo announced that assurances from the Islamic Republic of Iran have revoked any reasonable grounds for continued legal detention of Iran's oil vessel, yet a new American request for a separate legal procedure forced a delay in the oil tanker's release. It remains unclear what the fate of the Iranian oil tanker may be. In a statement released by the U.S. State Department, the United States warned that the Grace 1 is suspected of assisting the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps by transporting oil from Iran to Syria, which could result in serious consequences for any individuals associated with the vessel. While the statement provided legal grounds for the vessel's detention, it did not elaborate on possible actions that may occur if the tanker is released. It did underscore, however, that the United States will continue to use all the tools at its disposal to deny Iran and its proxies the resources they need to engage in malign and destabilizing activities in Syria and elsewhere, which includes the full enforcement of U.S. sanctions with respect to Iran and the IRGC. Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. Jonathan Hassan of Erev Tov and Shabbat Shalom. We will see you again on Monday at the same time.